Hello everybody, this is Intrepid83 and welcome back to Let's Play EVE Online and welcome to my very first post commentary.
You're ready to begin the pilot certification course. This course covers navigational basics, in-space piloting, combat, and interstellar travel. When you're ready to begin your certification, speak to me through the agent panel.
Yeah, so this is just me going through what I should have done at the end of the last episode and complete the mission that we finished, so yeah. I cannot remember at all what I was saying throughout this entire recording, this entire episode, so yeah. I'll probably just be piping in if I see anything that needs to be mentioned. For the most part, these missions are relatively self-explanatory, and if they're not, well, then you'll see me actually doing them, so that should help you out quite a bit. And I suppose I should mention this verbally as well, what I posted in the video description of the character creation video about how I was going to go about recording this LP, is that I think the best route, especially with the tutorial missions, would be that I would record, I'd sit down, record a bunch of, I'd record one session, one day kind of thing, and then I'd encode them all and then I'd upload them all, but I would not make them visible to the public until I get them all the videos for that one day uploaded, so that, you guys aren't left hanging kind of thing.
Your next trial involves combat. In order to survive, you will need to fit modules to your ship. To begin, access the station's fitting services.
So yeah, in the case of this is day one, so you probably won't hear me say this until I've made them all, but I believe this session was 10 episodes long, so for day one, so yeah. It'll mean that the updates will be few and far between, but not really few, but they'd be far between, but you'd end up with a bunch of videos kind of thing from one sit down. So.
Your ship needs to be fitted with a weapon and an armor repair module. Both of these are being provided to you now. Your weapon is capable of dealing high amounts of damage at close range. The small armor repairer is your defensive module. When activated, it will repair a small amount of your ship's armor. You will not be able to keep it running constantly though, so only use it when you have to.
Yeah, especially with this ship here, I do not believe there's any repair module that can actually run indefinitely on this thing, so just because the capacitor is so
onto
weak.
Your ship in the fitting area. It will fit into the appropriate slot automatically. Do the same with your defensive module.
But yeah, there's ways you can get that in. You can drag and drop it in if you'd like, or you can just right-click it and hit Fit to Active Ship, and it does it automatically for you. Same with the armor repair. You can just drag it in. One thing you need to worry about
when you are
lasers,
ready,
though,
undock.
Or any weapon for that matter, you need to have charges for it. But why are they sending us out without armor or weapons? Well, or at least some form of we've got a weapon, but we don't have anything to shoot. But yeah, that's what they're sending us out for. The first spot that we end up at, we'll have the crystal. But yeah, the Amarr, they use frequency crystals. They use all of the crystals use one combination or another of to varying strengths. Electromagnetic damage and thermal damage, whereas the Gallente and some Caldari, they use what are called charges. Basically, they use railguns and blasters, and their two primary forms of damage are kinetic and thermal. And the Caldari tend to lean more towards missiles. So missiles, you can basically switch in and out the type of damage that you'd like to do for that particular application kind of thing. Because for missiles, each missile has its own attribute in terms of which type of damage it does. You've got thermal missiles, you've got kinetic missiles, you've got explosive missiles, and you've got electromagnetic missiles as well. So something to keep in mind, and probably the most effective but complicated race would be the Minmatar, because they use artillery cannons and auto cannons. They're just basically kind of like
require ammunition to fire.
Yeah.
You are now being provided with close-range ammunition. Load your weapon now.
Yeah, the Minmatar generally use what is actually literally called in this game ammunition, like ammo. They have... One thing I should mention as well is that each race, they've got their own different types of charges or crystals or ammunition to varying degrees of damage. Like the higher the damage, the shorter range it is. In this case, the multi-frequency S is actually the shortest range before you get into Tech 2 crystals, but we won't get into those for a while.
The type of ammunition you load affects the range at which your turrets can hit. You can access detailed information on your weapon through the heads-up display.
But yeah, so the more powerful it is, generally the shorter range it is. The Minmatar have a little bit more to them in that they've got the varying ranges and the varying total damages of the ammo, but each piece of ammunition, from like the shortest range to the longest range, they may have the most total damage output, but they may not be the best application. Like just using, I think the most powerful, I guess, stock ammunition, if you will, or the most powerful general ammunition is called EMP ammo, and it's the shortest range. It's the same, it's the same penalty as what the multi-frequency has here, but it uses 3 different types of damage in the ammunition. However, it might not be best to use that ammunition against, say, another ship that's weak to explosive damage, kind of thing, like other Minmatar ships, because the Minmatar are generally very resistant, or they're more resistant to EM damage, electromagnetic. I'm just going to say EM, yeah, EM damage than all the other ships. So just keep that in mind. And the rest of the ammo types for the Minmatar, they all have varying degrees of different varying degrees of the different damage types. So I think all of the ammo at some point uses EMP or uses electromagnetic. Some of it uses kinetic. Some of it uses explosive, and some of it uses thermal. For the most part, it usually almost always uses kinetic and explosive, though. So thermal and EM are usually a little extra. They're usually
activate the acceleration
special,
gate and proceed to the next area when you are ready.
And yeah, what I did right there, you can click on anything in the overview there, and then just right click on the orbit button, which is what I had done, the one with the dot in the middle and then the arrow circling around it. You right click on that and you can set the orbit distance to the optimal range, which you can find in the show info. That was
next, we need to do a weapons check before we send you into live combat. You should see a fuel depot nearby. Before you can fire on it, you must lock on with your own targeting systems. Get a target lock, close your range, and then open fire.
Yeah, when you've got your weapons loaded, right click them and then show info on them. And scroll down and try to find the optimal range. The optimal range is, well, the optimal range is where the turret does the most damage. And there's also another attribute called accuracy fall off. That just basically means whatever the accuracy fall off is, it's usually a distance. The optimal range plus your accuracy fall off is usually generally the best area to stay in terms of being able to do damage to an enemy. So keep that in mind. Ooh. Pretty explosions.
You've taken damage from the nearby explosion.
Whoa.
You should repair your ship now with the defensive module you fitted. Remember to deactivate it once you've repaired the damage.
But yeah, I think the accuracy fall-off gives you the range at which it covers from 100% hit percentage at optimal range with a 0 transversal. Transversal is just you can use that to I guess make yourself harder to hit from the enemies. I eventually end up changing my overview settings to reflect what I usually have, and you'll see it then, and I'll probably explain it. I don't think I explained it at all during this session, but the next day that I record, I will I guess day 2 it would be, will have the I'll have a bit of an explanation of what transversal does. But yeah, so at optimal range, when you're a sitting duck or anything that's a sitting duck, you do maximum damage.
To your location.
It's pretty much 100% hit rate.
You should see them represented in your overview.
And as you get closer to the...
Let's take care of them now.
The optimal range plus the accuracy fall off, your accuracy drops. So, you start to miss a bit more, and then when you reach the accuracy fall off point, that's when your hit rate drops to 50%, and then if you go further than that, then it continues to drop off, and eventually you won't be able to hit them at all. So, kind of like a bell curve. And then there we go. We're killing our first two enemies here. But yeah, orbiting is usually the best bet to go anytime you're trying to take out any ship whatsoever, because like I said, it keeps up the transversal. Basically, the transversal just
lock the targets.
Gives you the relative speed you're moving compared to the other enemy's turrets.
Once you have a lock, activate your weapon.
Yeah. Having
ship
that
is fitted for close
as high as possible
combat.
Against them.
Either
it's also a double-edged sword
close
because sometimes
or use the approach command and close the distance yourself.
Your
if you are taking
transversal
too much
will be
damage,
higher than your
activate the defensive module.
Then you're tracking as well, and then you won't be able to hit them as well. But generally, it's usually pretty decent.
Good work. The area has been cleared of hostile targets. Warp back to the station and dock to complete the mission.
Warp drive active.
Alright, let's head home. And yeah, they do, any ship you kill drops a wreck. I actually do go into that in a later video, so I won't go into it again here. But the two different types of loot you can get in this game.
Docking permission requested. Docking request accepted.
Contact me through the agent's menu to complete the mission.